Now to this feast, I'm bringing the one and only Jimmy Dogs.
In 1937, Jimmy's Quick Lunch opened its doors to the people of Greater Hazleton and the world. Started by current owner Jim Grohal's grandmother, and the original Jimmy was his grandfather. The restaurant was passed down through the generations, being ran in the 60s by Jim's parents and finally coming into his ownership about 20 years ago. So it's clear that Jimmy's Quick Lunch is a long-running family tradition. But what exactly makes this old-school diner a stablemate in Hazleton cuisine? Well, that would be the Jimmy Dog.
The hot dogs we're really famous for. Even though we have a full kitchen with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I guess we're going to open the Jimmy's hot dogs. And they're really unique. We get the hot dogs especially made for us by Dietz and Watson. In fact, I talk to the boss every couple of months and we go over the formula, see how things are going. The chili's my grandfather's recipe from when he had a hot dog stand under the boardwalk in Atlantic City. We have our own mustard blend. We blend our own mustard to a certain specs. Still chop all the onions, the sweetest onions we can find. We chop them all by hand yet. The buns are always industrial, and we always steam our buns and treat them with extra loving care.
And consistency is the main reason for each ingredient's specific preparation.
Chopping the onions, we always chop them by hand. We chop them by machine. They always became bitter and brown onions, and we like to have them nice and sweet. We can pile them on the hot dogs, and it's just like having a taste of heaven. The chili, my grandfather's recipe, we always have to tweak a little bit because the spices come in different. We always basically use that same recipe so the chili tastes the same every time. And the mustard, we had to make our own blend. We used to use a mustard called Medford mustard, and back 20 years ago they went out of business. So we made our own blend of mustard to kind of simulate the old Medford mustard.
And that special blend of mustard has people coming in just to get a taste of yesteryear. Hey, even the flat grill that the hot dogs are prepared on has a long-running history.
Our flat grill's been there since 1937. My grandfather bought it used. We traced it back to 1926 from Hazel Park. About 4 years ago, I had to change the top. And I think if this top lasts 78 more years, I'll be very happy.
Have no doubt about it, these dogs are nationally known, if not world famous.
I think we're basically nationally known, and it kind of spread from Hazleton on out. A lot of people have moved out of the area. I hear that first stop when they come into town, they have to have Jimmy's hot dogs. And it just kind of spread. I met people in Pittsburgh that have never been to Hazleton, but they knew of Jimmy's. I met people in Grand Canyon that knew where Jimmy's Quick Lunch was in Hazleton. So it's kind of neat the way it's spread out all over the place.
People come from near and far just to get a taste of Jimmy's hot dogs on a regular basis.
We come all the way from Berwick for these hot dogs. Best hot dogs around. Can't beat them.
We come from Canada to get these.
60 miles one way to get Jimmy's hot dogs.
Beverly Kosmission is one of those locals Jimmy talked about earlier. She moved out of the area and comes back just to grab several or 20 so Jimmy dogs. But they're not all for herself. She has got several of her friends hooked on them.
We're from Hazel originally, and every time if I want to take a ride up or something, I'll check with the people and they'll want hot dogs. Now today I'll take 8 back. Sometime I take 20, you know. I introduce them to them. You know, I tell them that they can't beat the hot dogs at Jimmy's Quick Lunch.
So how does Jimmy enjoy his hot dog?
My way was always ketchup instead of onions. I know Clint Eastwood said can't stand ketchup on a hot dog. My way was always ketchup instead of onions. And it's funny, evolving through the years, I have customers now that come in and say, I want 2 with everything and 3 with Jimmy's way. And we all know what it is now, it's ketchup instead of onions. But we basically, all of us eat them all different ways. Sometimes you're making one and it looks a little different, ingredients, and we say, boy, that looks pretty good, we have to try one of those. And we usually do.
That's right, you can order your hot dog any way you want it, and I mean any way.
I had a gentleman from Sherrock's. He was from out of town, and he used to get peanut butter on his hot dog. He said if he couldn't have peanut butter, he didn't want the hot dogs. So we always had peanut butter for making cookies, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, etc. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. He had the hot dogs with peanut butter on. And that gentleman, he worked probably 6 months to a year at Sherrock's, and every week he came in, peanut butter on the hot dog.
If you're planning to get a couple or a dozen Jimmy Dogs, make sure you don't do it on a Tuesday because they'll be closed, and it's been that way for over 50 years.
Back during World War II, the soldiers from Indiantown Gap used to come up to Jimmy's and Hazleton itself, and they were very busy on the weekend. Soldiers would go back on Monday, Monday and Tuesday were still the slowest days of the week. So they picked Monday to restock because they made all their own syrups and everything. And they took Tuesday to take off. And Tuesday still fit right in because they had a thing called Meatless Tuesday during World War II. Because of rationing, they were trying to save the meat to stretch it for the servicemen. So it fit right in for that Meatless Tuesday.
Now that you're hungry and thinking hot dogs, because I know I am, make sure you check out Jimmy's Quick Lunch in Hazleton. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and make sure you tell them Off the Beaten Path sent you.